I'm there.
But the pistol they have now, I put the pistol up and pressed the trigger and nothing happened. I said, oh, you've got to hold it downwards. Press it like that.
We went with Mr. Langlands. He used to take us on treks to the Kachapuni Pass, 16,500 feet, in which separates Dir from Chitral. So he took us there, and I gave him an album. I presented an album to him about our visit to the Kachapuni Pass, and so I have very strong memories because he was my teacher, and we went on trips with him and to the Chitral Valley. And unfortunately, I couldn't show it to him because the internet doesn't work here. And so what I'll do is I'll ask my friend to talk to him, and when he's interviewing him, you can take the video. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
For the sake of historical references of your honorary citizenship of Pakistan and your love affair with Chitral, where Kalash resides and you have witnessed in and around the areas where you live as an adopted country, creation of Pakistan and the sad demise of the Kalash population. As we have seen the rise of Muslim League, Allama Iqbal and his famous speeches for a separate homeland for Muslims, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah joining Pakistan Muslim League, Chitral becoming part of Pakistan. Your relentless efforts and your encouragement for education and your contribution for sending students who became ultimately presidents and prime ministers of Pakistan. Our main questions in the end are how to preserve Kalash, how to get the United Nations recognized on urgent basis, and if you permit us kindly, invite Secretary General of UN to the areas as the United Nations will be celebrating decades of indigenous tribes from 2004 to 2014. Books to be mentioned in the interview: Kafirs of Hindu Kush, Cultural References of Hindu Kush, Role of His Highness Aga Khan and Development of Pakistan. In between the interview, we will provide you with photos, essays and correspondences sent to 52 heads of state since 1980 that we started this project. Thank you for granting this interview. So, would you like to answer these questions
Yes, I can answer the questions.
My first question to you would be the creation. What would you say about the creation of Pakistan and the sad demise of the Kalash population?
The creation of Pakistan, I was very much in favor of. I had transferred in January 1944 from British Army to become an officer in the Indian Army. And when partition was finally decided would be brought into operation, the British officers in the Indian Army were asked to volunteer to stay on for 1 year after partition to deal with the problems of splitting Indian Army up into two parts, Indian Army and Pakistan Army. So I put my name down for it. They didn't give us any choice between which army we joined, but I hoped very, very much that I would be posted to Pakistan Army, because I was very much in favor of the bringing into being the new Pakistan. I was very much in favor of it, and only one or two things. My infantry regiment in the Indian Army was a Hindu regiment, and I had never served in any of the areas which would come into effect at partition. But I was lucky, I got what I wanted, a posting to Pakistan Army.
And do you remember the rise of the Muslim League before partition?
Well, the main thing about the Muslim League, as compared with Nehru and all his Congress people, they already had experience of ruling, because they were already in full charge of many of the provinces of India, including the NWFP. They were in charge. And so they had tremendous experience of ruling. But the Muslim League up to then had not had any experience whatsoever of how to govern. So that is what gave them the biggest difficulty.
Do you remember the Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah joining the Muslim League at that time?
Oh yes, yes, yes. He was a very big leader of Indian Congress, but gradually he realized that the Indian Congress would not give any real power to any Muslims, because they said we were ruled before by the, what was it called, the Muslim rule. What was it called?
Muslim League?
The old, previous, before the British came.
Yeah, it was when the British ruled India.
No, before British came, who were
the Mughals ruled India. The Mughal rule.
Mughals. Yes, yes.
Yes.
And therefore the Hindus were not going to have another Mughal rule. They wanted to rule themselves. And therefore Muslims would have to take second place. And that was why Mr. Jinnah left the Congress Party and joined the
Muslim League.
Because at least in the Muslim majority areas, he said, there must be Muslim main ruling. We would look after all the other parties and religions. They had no intention of thinking that non-Muslims would leave Pakistan, or that many Muslims would leave India and come to Pakistan, Mr. Jinnah said it would be a Muslim country, but all the other religions would, he maintained, would be given the same position as the Muslims.
And do you remember anything about Allama Iqbal and his famous speeches for a separate homeland for Muslims?
Well, he was really the thinking man who knew everything that should be happening in a Muslim country and keeping with them all the others. He was the theory man. Mr. Jinnah was the practical man who was able to put Iqbal's ideas into effect.
And what would you say about Chitral becoming a part of Pakistan?
Well, to begin with, it was an independent state. There were quite a number of small independent states. There were 500 in the whole of India. Some of them, it was thought that if they were adjacent or inside Pakistan, they would come to Pakistan. And Pakistan said, you may maintain your independence for some years, and then we will see how to bring them firmly all together in one thing. That was quite a good idea. And so it was, well, the biggest independent territory was Bahawalpur, which would have to give some share, because one of the main route from Lahore to Multan in places would be going through Bahawalpur territory, so they would have to be quite close to each other. But it maintained its independence for some years, even had its own army, commanded by a British Major General, and eventually when Pakistan took over Bahawalpur, the Bahawalpur army became part of the Pakistan army.
And sir, your relentless efforts and your encouragement for education and your contribution for sending students who became ultimately presidents and prime ministers of Pakistan, what would you say about that?
Well, when I came to Pakistan, I thought it was for 1 year, and my idea was at the end of 1 year I would go back to England and become a civilian again, and I knew that the British government was giving persons who had joined the army for the war were going back to civil life. Those who had not completed their education were given very easy to get army scholarships. And so I was hoping, I had been trying just before the war began to get entry to Oxford University as a student, but I was not one of the lucky ones who got one of the very few open scholarships at that time, but I thought I would be able to get it when I went back this time. So that would have led to a very good life in England.
And your involvement with education at Aitchison,
No, before Aitchison comes, there are other important things. That in December 47, just 4 months after partition, the Pakistan government cancelled all those one-year contracts that have been given to the volunteer members, British army officers who were serving with the Indian Army, and Pakistan government said, we're cancelling that because it was given by the British government. We will give a 2-year contract or a 3-year contract to the British officers that we can have good use for and wish to retain. And I was given a 3-year contract. And at the end of the 3-year contract, I was given another 3-year contract.
And then you went to...
Sorry. Yes, all these things are long stories.
Okay, then I'll come back to for your